Education. What's the most important part about education? What you are being taught or who are you being taught by? Now, it's one of those things that I think about often because, you can have how can I put this, the curriculum in front of you, but if the person that's teaching you don't know how to reach you, what good is it? I work out with a school teacher, which is a good buddy of mine. We often talk about this. And there's no conclusion to come to because everybody thinks different, everybody feels different. But I look at now compared to then, meaning when I was going to school, whether it was a white teacher, black teacher, Mexican teacher, or whether it was a gay teacher, which I didn't know if a teacher was gay or not because back then they didn't disclose personal things like that. And that wasn't a factor when it came to teaching because teaching was about a passion that you had as a person that you wanted to reach people. You didn't really cloud the judgment with all your personal beliefs. You were there to teach and to educate, But I noticed what has changed in the last, 25, 30 years from my research is that where do these teachers come from? See, I had a teacher, my favorite teacher in the world, which would be Miss Croft. This was a lady who took me under her wing, basically, and opened me up. I mean, when I came to her class, my reading level was down and everything, and she realized that all I needed to do was get familiar with the words and just read it over and over and over again till it became, second nature. So I just needed to be repetitive with it. And what she did was open my eyes and my mind to literature. And I will always love that lady for that. But I realized she told me things about her. I mean, she told me where she came from. In my mind, I just had this slant view of where she came from until she checked me and put me in my place. She let me know, hey, I was born in a shack. She lived in a one-bedroom shack with other sisters and brothers, including her mother and father. So growing up for her wasn't easy. And I look at other teachers that came from not exactly that background, but places where they understood people. And I look at today's teacher now, and a lot of teachers we see today, not all, but a whole lot of them come from an upper suburban background to where they have this view of the world without any experience because they've been taken care of their whole life. I mean, these are teachers that wake up one day and say, hey, I want to be a teacher because they saw something on television and they thought it was easy. But they never had severe economic straits. I mean, a few have, but a majority didn't, So as they go and try to teach kids who don't come from a place that they come from, it becomes difficult and it becomes harder. And the quality of education that they're delivering becomes not so much quality because they can't reach those who they are teaching. So when I look at kids and what they're learning, then I look at who is teaching them. It's like, wow. I mean, pretty sure, you had your master's degree and you scored heavily in high scores on your test to get your certification. But when it came down to the actual product that you had to deliver, that's what a problem is. See, if you never been where those kids have been or ever had the problems that those kids have, then how can you relate? Because again, because this lady, Mrs. Croft, been where I was, understood where I was coming from, she knew how to unlock me. No. So, again, when we look at education, is it what they're being taught or who they are being taught by? Has a lot to do with it. And, parental involvement is indeed one of the most important things, if not the single most important. But it's just something to think about.